Am I falling down a conspiracy rabbit hole? I don't know. So much is going on, I can't even check myself sometimes now. Listen to these three things I'm going to tell you and tell me whether you think they could possibly be connected, or am I just imagining this? So, over the course of the last 6 months, and in fact just in the last few days, this government have taken three actions and made three announcements that, to me at least, could be linked. But let me know what you think. So, when it comes to social housing, the Tories brought in a policy to say that British citizens had to be given a priority when it came to consideration for social housing, council housing, social housing, etc., etc. The Labour Party did away with that and now just consider it purely based on need rather than on people's background, which means, in theory at least, that new arrivals in the country have as much right to be considered for social housing as British people do. That's one of the things. The government have also just announced that rough sleeping, homelessness and sleeping rough in the streets will be decriminalised. So it's no longer a crime to sleep rough or pitch a tent somewhere. That's no longer a crime. And then Rachel Reeves has announced that by 2029, there will be zero illegal migrants living in hotels. And then the government have also announced that Serco have been given the contract for private rental properties to house illegal migrants. So would I be wrong in surmising, potentially, that all of the illegal migrants are going to get thrown out of the hotels? That because there's no longer any predisposition towards favouring British citizens for social housing, they can then potentially apply for social housing. Or, if they just get thrown out and can't find anywhere to live, they can sleep rough or pitch tents wherever they want. Or, Serco can potentially take over the contracts from private landlords. Those private landlords can throw out their existing tenants, who may well be perfectly good tenants, in favour of Serco housing illegal migrants at exorbitant rents. Could any of those things be linked? Do you think it's just a coincidence that they've all been announced within a matter of days and weeks and months of each other? Do you think this is the solution, that they're not actually got any real intention or any real ability to stop them coming, so all they're going to do is find ways to house them, and in finding ways to house them, it's going to very much infringe on the rights of the existing inhabitants of this country, because they're potentially either just going to be dossing in your street, and there's nothing illegal about that, or they're going to be renting houses next door to you because Serco will be renting the houses next door to you, or even worse, they'll be putting council houses and denying British citizens the rights to live in those council houses. Now, I could be reading that entirely wrong, but do you not think it's slightly coincidental that all of those things have been announced? And they're all facts. Serco have won the right to deal with private landlords and take over the rental of private properties and rent those out, or house illegal migrants in those properties. Rough sleeping has been decriminalised, or will be being decriminalised, and there's now no longer any need to show favouritism towards British citizens for social housing, and apparently within 4 years there'll be no illegal migrants housed in hotels. Maybe it's just me. Maybe my head doesn't work properly. Maybe I'm a cynic. Maybe I've fallen down an Alice in Wonderland conspiracy rabbit hole. But that just seems a little bit too coincidental for my liking. What are your thoughts?